How do you feel about the accomplishment?
That was perfect. We will use that.
We'll use that. That's a soundbite.
I need my coffee.
That's, you know what that is? That's the alter ego. That's the pull. That is internally. I don't know if it's in everyone. That's inside me. Whenever the camera or the microphone gets turned on,
You just want to like show up and
yeah, you just have this like this feeling of like I must entertain. I don't know where it comes from. It's weird.
You are an entertainer, man. You love to entertain.
I guess I gotta own that, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I just like everybody to have a good time. I'd rather see people smile, but not like in an inauthentic way. Like I want you to, we can deal with the issues. If
Feel
there's an
good
issue,
about
but,
it.
Yeah. But if you're just kind of generally like, it's like maybe you're just lacking some excitement. Maybe we just need to beef it up a bit,
Well, that's what I would not expect anything else from your side.
Yeah, it would be weird otherwise, right?
It would be weird. Why so serious?
Why so serious?
That just leave that to me. 'Cause I'm the serious guy.
That's right. That's right. You're serious enough for both of us. You know what's funny about this whole thing is that we're the only ones that have context for how like sudden this start was, right?
Yeah, this is like not a thing for anybody else.
You literally just like plugged in.
Yep.
Just hit record.
We do that though, don't we?
May as well,
Yeah.
right?
And we're here after a week.
We
Took a little
we leaned on the
siesta.
long weekend a bit.
Yes.
We were like, oh,
As
even
we
though
should.
we did have probably the most epic podcast unrecorded conversation ever.
Lesson learned there is to just always have something recording in the background.
Absolutely.
So we will do that next time. So how's your week been? We had a pretty good conversation yesterday.
Yeah.
We kind of talked about that.
So we got together with our friend Heather, which we do now. At least the last few turnarounds has been pretty frequent.
Yeah.
At least every couple months, where we get together on a Friday and chat for 3 or 4 hours, and we may or may not have a few drinks in that time. Where were we last night?
We're at the National in the Northwest, West Hills.
What are they? Yeah, West Hills. Yeah.
Yeah. What is that, right?
I think it's a great place. I love how they have you said that all of them have the windows and stuff open like that. Managed to stay on the patio. That was nice. And yeah, my week has been, it's been an interesting week. It's been a week of, I would say, a higher level of awareness. Just paying attention to my being, like moment to moment, because that is what it's all about, right? To create something and get used to being alive and lit up as opposed to an automatic program. Right? The default.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it's been like, and what I mean by that is I've been really focusing on relationship. I've been focusing on connecting with people and taking all of my own thoughts and considerations, and I don't want to go there, or geez, I hope this goes this way or works out into something or whatever. I've been taking all of those thoughts and considerations and just putting them aside, and the only objective being organic connection.
And you were saying that it's been really making a difference in showing up as there's just something new that's starting to show up, getting out of your own way.
Yeah.
There's something that you've been trying to get done and not doing very well because
I've been trying to get it done.
Because you've been trying to get it done.
Interestingly enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it started, I don't really know when it started, but I'll definitely get into a bit more detail about that conversation we had last week that didn't get recorded. But yeah, I had some incredible opportunities show up this week. Opportunities for lots of different things, business, but also just opportunities to connect with people. So oftentimes, I don't know about you, but I have a shitload of consideration. I don't necessarily know where it comes from, but it's like, I'll just kind of internal dialogue whether or not I should go meet with this person.
It's worth your time.
Or
it's
should
worth
I?
their time.
Is it worth my time? Is it worth their time? Should I reach out? Or oh, they're probably busy. Like it doesn't matter what it is, but there's a million different things. And what I've done is go, okay, yeah, there's that conversation, that banter, and it's not real. And the reality of it is, I actually have no idea what's possible, and that's likely what I'm avoiding. So why don't I just reach out and say, hey, David, don't know why, but you crossed my mind today, and I thought I'd reach out and say, what's going on? And that action is literally unpredictable what's possible, and actually the impact that it has on the other person.
Yeah, you just never know. One thing for sure, it is a positive impact.
Absolutely.
Like 100%, that you can't avoid.
You know what's funny about it is 9 times out of 10, for some reason or another, whether they need support or they need a product or service that you have, or they have something that you need, 9 times out of 10, when you have that inclination to reach out to somebody, it's the perfect time.
Yeah.
It's really strange how that happens. It is really strange, but it's true. So try that on, and whoever's out there listening, if you think of, oh, my father, if your father crosses your mind, see what happens. Give him a buzz and just see what happens.
Yeah, this was a conversation that I had with Maya as well about her workshop, her watercolor workshop. She really likes to do this stuff, loves to guide people through the process of reconnecting to their creativity, because we all got something in the background here that we just love to just put on paper and know that was us that did it. And then in the same vein, we don't, because, well, what if it doesn't turn out to be a masterpiece first go around, you know?
That is so subtle and so gripping.
Yeah, it'll hold you.
Like that.
It'll like sit on you and prevent any sort of opportunity from being created. What's super interesting though, like so that's why she does what she does with the workshops. And when people go to her workshops, they experience that. Like they actually get to create something and get out of their own way. And watercolor is one of those mediums that has a degree of unpredictability. And you just get to play with the unpredictability. You can control it to a measure once you start to really understand it, but at
Right.
first it seems like you can't control it at all.
Every time I drive by West Village, I'm like, because I'm so crazy, I will roll down my window and be like, I know her! I know those paintings! Like,
Oh my God, I'm so glad I'm not in the car with you when you do
I
that.
know the girl who did those paintings. She's my friend. You know what? I'm super uncomfortable right now, but I'm about to say something.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
I'm gonna do Maya's watercolor workshop.
Are you?
Like, why
Good for
haven't
you, buddy.
Why have I not done that?
I don't know. Why haven't you done
I'm
that?
gonna do it because I think we talked about this on the podcast a couple weeks ago. I'm fascinated by the idea of creating right now.
Yeah.
Like, and we are creating.
We are creators.
I don't
period.
know why we like. Oh yeah, no, this is just life in the world and the physical world, and this is how it works. And we get up and go to work, and I think the same, 60 or 70,000 thoughts that I thought yesterday, and I'm comfortable and it's predictable, and I know how today's gonna go.
Yeah.
I know how it's gonna go.
Predictably, it does.
And it's funny because life it's like a mathematical formula. If you change the equation, you inevitably are going to get a different result, right?
Hands down.
It's
It's impossible not to.
absolutely.
So that's cool. I think you would really enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm totally down, and I'll see if we can schedule wise and whatnot. I'll see if I can even invite my wife to come.
Yeah,
It'd be so fun.
She would enjoy it as well.
It'd be cool to do something together.
She's
like
always exploring that, anyways, in
Yeah,
different forms.
totally,
Right? So
yeah.
she's practically there.
that. And you know what would be really interesting about that though too is that I don't think she's ever done anything like that before, so she would be super uncomfortable.
Oh yeah.
She would
The
be
stories that Maya tells me of people, and they're like, "It's not doing what I want it to do."
Because she is a creative type anyway, Crystal, and she's quite talented in a lot of different
High
areas.
expectations.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You want to see if that thing's going to wind up on social media? Now, I'm not saying it won't. Maybe she'll be like, oh, You know?
Well, and the beauty of how Maya now runs through the workshop is it's in setting the expectation that there's some sort of masterpiece that's going to come out of this.
Right.
It's not about that. It's actually about tapping into the exercise of being creative, of just letting go, of putting something on paper and understanding how the nuances of it all.
It's like that, I can't remember what you guys called it, but it was like that exercise we did at kayak where you're blindfolded.
Yeah, the vision questing, the dream catching exercise with the scratch pad, man. Everybody was super uncomfortable with that.
I was just so like resistant.
Yeah.
Because you feel helpless when you're blindfolded. You feel helpless, and then you have all the considerations of, but I actually can see, and when I take this blindfold off, I'm gonna see a pile of shit that I don't want to see.
And I was at cause of making that pile of shit.
Yeah, right.
That doesn't fly with me.
So we're actually blindfolded, and just to create some context, we're blindfolded and we're sketching into, what are those papers? Those pieces of paper?
It's a rainbow scratch pad.
Yeah, so you scratch into it, but you're blindfolded trying to create an image of, I can't remember what we were talking about.
It was about your future, tapping into the unknown,
yeah.
the unconscious, and allowing somebody else to actually create what it is that you say you're up to in the world. But shutting down all the typical sensors that are there to support us, i.e. eyesight.
Yeah.
And just being with the exercise of pure chaotic creation and tapping into the unconscious. It's a fascinating exercise.
And you know what else is funny about it is it's partnered work, and one person goes and the other person goes, and the girl I was with hers was so good. It was so good, and I was just like, I feel so tiny. Because mine was like, I'm certain either of my kids could have done better.
We don't allow ourselves the space to just scribble shit. Do you know, like the idea of just putting anything down to allow space for the other thing like the thing that really is significant to begin to arise and show up.
You know what I think's behind that? Is we don't actually allow ourselves to let things not matter.
Right. It's got to be perfect.
Right? If I do this, yeah, it's so crazy. Why would I do that? I'm not good at it.
That's right. So I'm never ever going to go there.
Never going to even play with it.
And what's super cool about what Maya's been doing is afterwards people are like, wow, this is actually really good. It's like, well, yeah, because you allowed yourself to just be a part of a chaotic creative process, and there's no expectations, and there was a guide to guide you through it, which is the other thing that we tend to forget. We're not on this journey alone. We don't have to be. There are people out there who say, "Let me help you."
Absolutely.
So let them help you.
So. Speaking of which, a segue. You've been letting some people help you recently with some things that you're up to creatively. Is that right?
Oh my God, have I ever? Yeah, totally. I almost forgot about that.
It's so easy to forget, right?
What have I been doing with my life? Yeah. So in exploring my interest in poetry and speaking this poetry,
particularly. A certain type of poetry.
Yeah, slam poetry. I have been working with a group of musicians who has been coaching me through, like, in person. I'm reading through this thing, and they've been coaching me through, like, what is it that you're wanting to leave with people with this piece?
Right.
And having that objective perspective. Did you catch that? That was pretty
objective
good.
Perspective, yeah.
It's starting to just come. It's fucking weird. All of a sudden I'll be rhyming, be like, oh, damn, that was good.
Good thing it's recording.
Yeah. And listening for what it is that I say I'm up to, and that I want this piece to be able to deliver in terms of an emotional connection.
Yeah.
And then coaching me through that.
And being reminded of it.
Yeah, like constantly. And it can show up as like, are we really doing this again? Like, I thought I had this.
Yeah.
It would be the the default conversation. I thought I was good. I had practiced it, and we're just gonna like knock this out of the park consistently. That's my
Right.
way of being. It's like you're just gonna go there. There's gonna be a couple takes, and everybody's gonna be crying because they were so moved. Like, not to say that's not unrealistic,
His
but
words.
yeah. But what was missing to actually have that happen, because every time I listen to it, and I read the words, it is so on point for what it is that I'm dealing with, what it is that they're dealing with. When they're listening to it, they're like, hey, I don't get bored listening to it, is what they say.
Right.
I keep getting something new out of it. So it's doing that, but that's actually not why I'm creating this. This is for me to teach myself how to lean into something that's really uncomfortable, i.e. me being completely self-expressed without inhibitions, like to just own the speaking of something that is connected to me so deeply, and to share it with another that is now the byproduct for them too, right? Just to be connected so deeply to it.
Yeah.
And when I do that, because it's happened a few times and it kind of goes away, because then I gotta like try and get it right again.
Totally.
I notice the impact that has on the other people. It's like, whoa, it's awesome. It's such a fulfilling experience.
Yeah, that's when you're focused and present to your actual authentic
Yeah.
intention, as opposed to like, what do people really want here?
Yeah, exactly. You know what it needs to look like? It's got to look like this because this is what everybody else is doing, and
Yeah.
no, it's not about that. So it's been an incredible exercise for me, self-declared, right? Like I just decided, you know what? I need a different outlet for my creativity. I'm gonna turn my laptop off.
Yeah, different outlet for your creativity. But man, you've really put in a ton of work into this thing. Like,
I have. So I can't even remember when I started this.
this has almost been, it's been
2-3 months.
Yeah, I was gonna say at
Maybe
least
longer.
maybe longer. Like the first time, I can't remember if you shared a video in the group or shared something.
Would have been an audio.
Or it was actually even before that. You and I sat down, and you're like, I've been experimenting with slam poetry.
Right.
And then I think you were reading it still.
That was like
paper to me.
3-4 months ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago, for
yeah.
sure. So you have been practicing. So do you want to, just give us a soundbite, or?
I would normally, and I'm not going to, but not because of any other reason other than I've got like, I feel I'm like getting rid of a cold or something, so it's actually a challenge for me to talk right now.
Yeah, and to give that kind of
yeah, there's
entheos.
Totally. So otherwise, and so we'll take a rain check on
Okay,
that.
for sure.
Because it's really fucking weird actually. I had thought about what would it look like if I just like started to share this on the podcast, right? Some of the work that I've been doing. So it's on my radar, but this it's scratchy, so it's.
No, I can hear it. I heard it as soon as I walked in this morning. Actually, I just thought of something too around our new sort of concept to work and create while we do the podcast. We should definitely have Maya on.
Yeah.
And we could do some watercolor.
Yeah, that would be a really good idea.
We should totally do that.
To collaborate with her around the thing that she really likes to do.
And she doesn't have to feel any pressure to, talk or...
I don't think that's an issue for her.
No, I don't think it is either, but I think it will definitely be a consideration.
Yeah. Well, you got to say the right thing, right?
Yeah.
Don't fuck it up.
For sure, yeah.
This episode is being televised.
it's being broadcast across the globe. Something I want to acknowledge you for, man, and I said to you last night that you made a huge difference in my actual experience of life, like my whole life. Not that it hasn't been that way. I think back and forth, but in our relationship since probably the day we met and how we met, which I don't know if we've actually shared on the podcast. Maybe we'll go there sometime. But just that conversation that didn't get recorded around actually just my awesomeness, how you were able to prop me up and say, dude, like you're awesome, and just go be awesome, and everything will be awesome, right? So that's what my experience of myself and my relationships and interactions have been all week long. So I
that's
appreciate
awesome.
it. Yeah, it's
Awesome to hear.
I think we found a title.
Totally. Are you awesome? Yes.
How awesome are you? Yeah.
Well, I'm over the course of the last little while and looking inwards and seeing what big people we always strive to be, and how quickly we let the automatic nature of the human condition just kind of show up and take over, and all of a sudden you're just no longer in control anymore, and no longer self-expressed, and feeling like, what's the point, and resigned and cynical. It's just like, oh my God, the tailspin that we go through in that space, and it's not going away either. It's always going to be there. The difference that it makes when we actually contribute to somebody else and remind them of who they are. I'm the Wolfpack event that we went to.
Yeah.
I understand who I am for others for the most part, and then something will come in and completely derail it, and I'm left floating in the sea of chaos that is self-generated, and feeling frustrated and unaware of what to do next, or lacking inspiration of what to do next. And the difference that it makes when somebody says, hold on a sec, let's just get you reconnected to what I see you as, because that's actually the reality.
Yeah, right.
The thing that we hold in our head, nobody else is aware of that but us, and that's not real. That's not the experience of people out in the world.
Yeah, right.
And I did that at an event again. This quiet guy who joined us at Wolfpack, and when I am there, when I'm clear that why I'm there is to help somebody else, to like be known, get related, have somebody begotten, because that is a fundamental reason for being for me.
Yeah.
And not be surprised that that's something that I do, and see the impact that has, like just standing powerfully in that space. It is inspiring. It's a driver for me, and sometimes I forget about it. So
yeah,
it's good to hear it, to have those suspicions validated, that inclination to do this thing, that it actually makes a difference, and it like really does fill the tank.
Well, I think it's been showing up, or at least my observation has been that it's been showing up for you a lot more frequently.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it stems from, the reality of it is you're living it. Like you're living your own self-expressed creative self inside your work, inside your, now some of the things that you're doing for your leisure and hobby, and then like the conversations that you're having, and the fact that you're present to that there's always an opportunity to contribute. Always. You never know what someone's dealing with, and when you're actually listening, right?
That's the key.
When you're listening, it's like,
I remember a time where I thought I was a good listener. And the reality was I was just listening for my opportunity to share my wisdom, drop down some knowledge and like leave the premises, because I just was crazy.
I think people take it for granted, the fact that listening is a skill.
Yeah.
And if it's a skill, that means you can always get better at it.
Yeah, and for any of you listening out there,
or are you just hearing?
Yeah, to think that whatever might have shown up right in that moment, because it actually showed up for me, it's like, well, yeah, you're pretty good at listening. Stop that, because that's the one thing that I got really clear on, is I'm actually not very good at listening, because the minute that shows up that I'm good at listening, I'm no longer paying attention.
Absolutely.
And it happens so quickly, and it takes me right out. And then I'm wondering, like, I'm left wondering what to do next and feeling lost again.
That reminds me of something. The first of all, the courage it takes, but the power in saying to somebody, you know, I missed what you just said there. I don't know what, my brain just went somewhere else. Can you just repeat what you just said? My wife and I practice that all the time together. Because sometimes I'll notice it and I go, you're not listening, are you? She's like, not at all.
I do that with Maya too.
Right. I'm like, all right, cool, it's all good.
And it's cool because you're listening. You're not just speaking, like you're paying attention.
That's right.
And you're not just speaking to just like get it out and be like, okay, I said my piece now. You left the devices, you figure out your side.
Yeah.
You're aware of the power and the need for real direct connection to have whatever is being spoken about understood.
Yeah.
Like, truly understood.
There's all those, that's the thing about listening and communication. There's all those other subtle nuances that are going on that you can quickly become aware. Oh, I think I'm boring right now. I can see that their eyes are glazing over.
Right.
They are not listening. I should ask a
They're
question.
a bit fidgety.
Yeah.
Looking for something to do. Yeah, all of these things. It's been really great to notice and see, and to stand in, like, so there's something that will show up, and to just step into it. I.e., you know, maybe with best intention, there's no make wrong ever. I shouldn't say ever. Sometimes it shows up that maybe somebody's not realizing that there's a missed opportunity for this person to speak. And I don't know if you experience this. I certainly experience this. I'm like on a roll.
Yeah.
But it's not like a roll where you're really making a difference. It's like a rock rolling down the hill type of momentum, and you can't stop.
In a conversation, actually, it's a perfect segue. So another thing that came out of that conversation we had last week is okay. Quick backstory: you had connected me with someone that you were connected to, and it's like, you know what, I think you guys would mesh well. It's a good opportunity here for who knows what. Sort of one of those deals, like two awesome people. Let's just get you together and see what happens.
Exactly.
And that is what happened. And the funny thing is the first 10 minutes or so were pretty awesome. Like, we connected. It was like, oh wow, this is great, you know, conversation talking about family and a little bit of background in each of our training and that sort of thing. And then one thing led to another, air quote. And it was sort of like asking some more questions about what I do. And then that's exactly what happened. I basically was like, oh yeah, and then I base jumped
totally
off a building, and it was like down a spiral of, well, I'm in deep now, and I'm just droning on about me and how awesome my shit is and what I do. And the funny thing is too, is I actually felt on the other side that this is not working.
Yeah, there would have been that for sure.
You know what I'll do is I'll just push a little harder.
Totally. I'm almost there.
Yeah, we'll get to you in a second. Sort of, right? And anyways, needless to say, that conversation and that connection, that communication fell flat. And there was actually a ton of value in the entire experience, only because I left knowing that I base jumped and I felt shitty, and I was like, you know what? I'll just let that one go.
Right.
Just let it go and move
Chalk
on.
it up as a loss.
Yeah, missed opportunity, and away we go. And you had encouraged me to. You said, you know, I said I'm gonna follow up and basically.
Well, what happened is I followed up with him.
Yeah, you followed.
Which is what I tend to do.
Yeah.
As part of who I am, and I got the download from him going, yeah, it was all right, but there was some things that didn't really work out to him. Like, oh, because I was actually genuinely surprised, because that's not how you show up.
Yeah, right.
That's not how I know you to be. Be like, okay, that's weird. And encouraging on the other side to be like, yeah, I think this is incomplete.
Yeah.
My experience, my perception of it is that it's incomplete. And so there was an opportunity for either side to get it complete. And it was evident at the end that opportunity was for you.
Well, yeah, and one of the things that was inside that is he said, well, he said he'd follow it up and he never did. And of course, I'm over here in my own world going, well, I should probably follow up, but why would I?
Yeah, what's the point now?
What's
I
the
totally
point?
fucked it up.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's no value for me to actually bring, so I just won't bother.
Right.
And so I said, you know what, I am going to follow up after you and I had that conversation. And thank God you caught me. You were like, yeah, and I would do that by phone. And I was like, oh yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Right, you mean connecting with a real person?
Yeah, it would have been like, I could have sent this email and it would have been like, oh yeah, great, Bern, thanks a lot for reaching out. Like, pretty much would have been like, the result, likely. And inside of about a 3-minute conversation, it was a profound reversal of that entire experience from before.
And quite easy, I would say.
It was actually very easy.
Yeah.
It was very easy. And in fact, when the phone was ringing and it did those long 4 rings, I was like, you know what, I'll just leave a quick voicemail. Hey, hello. I was like, hi. Hi there.
Oh shit, I didn't expect you.
Yeah. And it had an impact on that person. Their day was probably going just fine, but I would say there was a shift for them in that conversation. Like,
there's something else that they would have done.
And acknowledgement too, like, wow, it really takes a big person to make this call. And I really appreciate it. And it was like, and he even said, like, you could have chalked this up as a missed opportunity. It would have been super easy for you to do that. And he goes, and I feel it would have been a missed opportunity. He said, because I think that you're a good guy, you know your stuff, and I think that we have something to contribute to both each other. So I said, I really appreciate that, and I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. So I'll let you go for now, and I will reach out at another time. We'll set up another time to connect if you're open to that. Absolutely. So
that whole situation got reset powerfully.
Completely.
Yeah. Completely
reset. What did I hear this week? The frame. Set the frame. So I'll give some backstory on that. Setting the frame is an example of, the guy shared an example. I listened to this on a podcast. So he was in a coffee shop and there was this like 3 or 4-year-old kid. The kid fell down, took a spill, and the parents, he immediately looked up at the 2 people that he trusts the most to see what his parents' reaction or response was going to be. And his parents walked over and were like, oh, look at you. You took a little trip there, did you? How you doing? That kind of thing. As opposed to, oh my God, are you okay? Right? And the kid was like, oh, and no big deal, laughed it off and got up and away the kid went. So you can actually set a frame in a conversation like that. Like, everything's okay. We're open. This is like a fun, relaxed environment. Or you can come with like anxiousness, nervousness, got to get somewhere, gears are grinding as opposed to working together, right?
Flow.
Yeah, so I think in that conversation we reset the whole frame for what's possible the next time we meet.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. And I would say that's the big takeaway for this podcast is not looking at it as the missed opportunity, but looking at every interaction with somebody as what's possible. I've been talking to Maya about her reaching out directly, like person to person, to get into people's worlds and to then allow them to get into hers so that they are aware of what she's up to. Because she's up to some pretty cool stuff that I would not be surprised, like, at all if they're like, hey, could I go?
Absolutely.
And it really takes something for us to frame what it is that we're saying that we want to do, i.e., and having it come from a place of just connection, because we're hearing it and seeing it everywhere. We're lacking connection. We're so connected and we've never been so disconnected.
Absolutely.
But it's so easy to create connection.
I'm thinking of it this way. Something clicked in my head while you were talking. It's like, because I wasn't listening, but no, no, really, because I was listening, I think something clicked. It's sort of like being with the other person with no agenda. But think of it this way, like, if I am so passionate about what I'm passionate about and what I want to share, likely they have something like that in their world too. Whether they're even actively expressing it. So you can actually be a contribution such that you draw that out of them and say, you should do something with that.
Yes. Yes.
right?
And what would be possible if more of us actually did that?
And absolutely, and it's almost impossible for the space not to be open, for them to be actually with you to listen, now for you to share what you're up to,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. And that's where the opportunity gets created. So I think in closing of this, we are all looking to be understood and gotten in this world. I have never been more clear about that than I have as of late. And it is all on you to be gotten.
Absolutely.
It really takes something to be gotten, because it actually requires you to want to get another person.
And just a reminder, exactly, it requires you to get another person for you to be gotten.
Yeah.
And just a reminder, if you're having this conversation in your head before you connect with someone, like, geez, I really hope that I get them, and then I really hope that they get me. Okay, yeah, so stop there.
That won't work.
That will not work. And remind yourself also, if that happens midway through the conversation, if you're like me and you base jumped, you actually still have an opportunity to pull the chute and slow things down.
Totally.
You can say, hey, you know what? This is a bit uncomfortable for me, but I just want to reset this whole conversation if you're open to that. Because I'm clear that this is not a representation of who I actually am. I sort of went on a tangent there, and I just want to start over. Are you open to that? And they might look at you a bit weird at first, but go, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And then start by asking them a question.
Totally. And to the guy who was part of that conversation that you guys had, because I have a feeling he'll be listening to this episode.
I might even dare to share it.
There was an opportunity for him to reset the conversation too.
For sure.
He's a powerful guy. I know how he shows up, and it would have been fucking uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Like,
for both of us.
Absolutely. And things would have gone in a slightly different tangent, but
For sure.
I suspect that you guys, because I know both of you, you would have built momentum very quickly and just
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that is the other thing that I feel is important to leave. There is always something that you know that you can do in the moment that would make the difference, and it would be really uncomfortable to do it.
For sure.
Step in and do that thing, because you have no idea. One, it will make a difference. Period. If you're coming at it from the right intentions, it will make a difference, and you have no idea the difference it'll actually make, versus doing it later or playing catch up, and you just lost a lot of momentum there.
Yeah.
In the moment, there's something that can be done, and we have that control. That I was at the experience of this week. At any moment, I can veer left, and it can be super disruptive, as it tends to be, and it make a huge ripple effect. We need more ripple makers out there.
100%.
Like, stop with the waiting in the pool that isn't going anywhere. Go make some ripples. Go make some ripples.
Go make some ripples.
Would be my big request at the end of this.
Hey man, you said it all.
So that's it. We're out. Thanks for listening.
Indeed. That was fucking awesome. How long was that?
38 minutes. Perfect. Between 20 and 40 minutes, I think, is our average.
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
I think when you feel like, well, because we're just creating a conversation. Was that like episode 23? Because that was 25, wasn't it?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that was number 25.
Yeah, you're right.
I think with the podcast, it's like, I mean, I'm sure we could have kept going on, but there was no searching, no looking. That whole thing was just a flowing conversation, and it's like, you know what? This is a perfect place to end it. Because why go into? Because we're not focusing on a specific topic, but it goes in a direction, and you don't need to switch it unless it's one of those things. Oh, by the way, there's something I wanted to bring up.
Yeah, totally.
Right, and that's totally fine. But it's like, it's just going, and if it goes for 20 minutes or 25 minutes or 40 minutes, great, right?
Where there's flow.
Yeah, instead of